I have my color paper vertically, that's up and down, and I'm going to take the bottom and fold it up to the top. And you really do want to match your corners as best you can, and then crease the bottom. And you're going to leave it folded. One of the most important things is that your opening is at the top and the fold is at the bottom, your crease. You don't want to turn your paper around because then the next step is going to get messed up. So I'm going to zoom in here to my folded paper. Again, the opening is at the top, the fold is at the bottom, and I want to draw a line at the top 1 inch from the bottom. So I've made you these little papers that are exactly 1 inch wide. I'm going to take it and slide it to the top, but I want to make sure that it's evenly across the top. And then you need to hold it with your 2 fingers kind of spread out wide so that it doesn't move on you. And I would very lightly draw across the bottom edge. So now I have a line that goes across the top. If it's thinner on one side and thicker on the other, then what that probably means is that you somehow, did something like that where you can't see behind it, but it's crooked. So when you're sliding it up, make sure that it's even at the top. Then you're going to take a real ruler, and I'm going to use the inches. I can tell it's inches because it says inches. I'm going to slide it up to that line, and remember, I have to have the 0 line at the edge of my paper. So a little bit of my ruler is hanging off the edge, and the rest of the top of my ruler is along that line. And then I'm going to make a mark at every inch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I am not going to do 9, and I did not do 0. Then I'm going to slide it down to the bottom. And again, I'm going to make sure that my 0 line is at the edge of my paper. This one's a little trickier because my ruler is not holding my paper down. But I want the ruler to be the same down here as it was up there, so I don't want to turn it. But again, I'm going to make my cart 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm not going to do 9, and I didn't do 0. So now I want to connect my dots, but I'm not going to draw up in this space. So in fact, what you could do instead is write your name. And then we'll always know it's yours. This is actually going to end up being the back of your paper anyway. So now it doesn't really matter what side of my ruler I'm going to use. I'm just going to match up my dots. And remember, from the up art, I want to make sure that the top mark is on the ruler and the bottom mark is on the ruler. I'm going to spread my fingers so my ruler is nice and still, and then I'm going to connect. Slide to the next one, connect. I'm going to do that across my paper. If your lines are crooked, then you didn't make your marks in the right spots. Now for this, it doesn't really matter if your lines are a little crooked, but it will help you when you're weaving if they are straight. So there they are. So now I want to cut. I'm going to take my paper. I never cut in this top section here. So I'm only going to cut on these lines that are going vertically. So I'm going to start down here at the crease. Now the nicer your cuts, the easier the weaving will be. If you have jagged cuts, then you're going to have jagged things to weave through. So I'm going to start down here. I'm going to just cut along the line. If I go off a little bit, I'm not going to try to fix it because that's going to give you a hole. And I stop at the dot. You do not cut in your name section. Start down here. Keep cutting. Stop at the dot. Now while you're cutting, you want to make sure that your paper stays folded and it doesn't shift like that on you. So you got to just hold it together while you're cutting. Now that one wasn't perfect, but it's okay. I'm just going to leave it. It's pretty much straight. Stop at the dot. And then when you open it, you have your loom. So it's cut through the middle, but it's not cut in the top and bottom. And then there's the back of my paper that has all the marks and my name. So now that we have the loom, we want the pieces to weave through. So there are strips of paper of all different colors. And since we're in 5th grade, we don't want to weave boring strips. So each strip should have at least 2 colors. So the way you're going to do that is choose your 2 colors. And one of them you're going to cut with the funky scissors. The funky scissors are found in the wooden cupboards here. Sometimes they're hidden behind the colored Sharpies. And they're in these kind of old boxes. But inside you'll find all the fun scissors. There's 1 bin per table. So you have the tray of funky scissors. Choose one. The easiest thing to do is cut right about through the middle of it. But remember your scissor, the middle, you want this edge of your scissors to be on the middle. And when you cut with funky scissors, you want to cut, then move it all the way to the back again, and then cut. Move it all the way to the back of the mouth, cut. So that way you're not cutting up the design you already have. And then cut. Now what's really great about this is that I actually have 2, so I can use this on this one, and then I could use the other half on another paper. And then I'm just going to glue those down. Now if you want to weave with these today, they can't be all gluey. So what I would do is on your strip, just add a very, 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 very thin line of glue. And then add your piece. And then on this one, thin line of glue. Now you're probably going to need 9 or 10 strips. So I would just make 10 to be safe. If you want, you can do a pattern of colors, like always use the same, or you can just make it all different colors. You can use the same funky scissors, you can change your funky scissors, but every strip that you're going to weave through has to have 2 colors on it. I'm going to take this one, I'm going to use a different pattern. Again, I'm going to cut through the middle, cut. Back of the scissors, try to match it. The back of the scissors. If you don't want to use the other half, you can always share with a neighbor, and then you can have all sorts of colors. Okay, so now I have 10 strips that each have 2 color, and I'm ready to weave.